It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to the Travel and Cruise Industry News podcast on this Tuesday, September 24th, coming to you from Boston, Massachusetts, the Intercontinental Hotel. Once again, in our room here at the Intercontinental. Today's show brought to you by Will U.S., the owner of Scoot Around, and by Chilliescruises. Before we get to the headlines and on with the day of the show, give a little bit of explanation of what's going on in our world. As you know, I announced yesterday that today's show and tomorrow's show were going to be early, and I didn't know when, but early. Well, needless to say, our excursion for today was canceled, so I could do the show at the right time. The fallback from all this is that with the time that we would have had to leave here this morning and be wrapped up to go out whale watching in this weather, I'm not at all sure I could have gotten a show on. Well, we have similar circumstances now for tomorrow and now Friday, which we've rescheduled the whale watching for Friday. So I think what I'm going to do, folks, for tomorrow and Friday, obviously, if we're canceled out again, the show will be 11 like it's supposed to be. But if I'm in the middle of those excursions, I'm not even going to attempt to get a show on and ready with the amount of time it takes me, because keep in mind, you know, I hear Tom to think about also, where I'd get up at, like the last guy, I was getting up at 2 a.m. and work. I can't do that because that would disturb him, and that wouldn't be right either. So let's just go with on Wednesday and Friday of this week. And there might be similar things next week too, but Wednesday and Friday, I'll do something when I can. Maybe on the excursion, I just get, if I've got a signal, that I'll start a live stream and just do it from the ship. It may not be news. It might just be what's going on with hot air time on the whale watching or whatever. Let's play it by ear. I can't see, especially since my body is still in a recovery mode, so to speak, you know, giving up sleep and still trying to cope with the weather, although it's a beautiful day today, but out where we were going is where they're still having a lot of winds and high seas and so forth. So let's do that, play it safe rather than sorry. Wednesday and Friday, I'll do something probably around showtime time. I'm just not sure what it's going to be. So, at any rate, that's what's going to happen. And again, next week, until we get on the train day back to Virginia, that is, things can happen down in New York too when we're down there. So, all right, which is the lead story today. There was not a whole ton of news, but the main thing is weather related, both in the Pacific and in the Atlantic. Landfall for a Category 3 hurricane is the main headline, and we're all looking at this. Helene, which there should be Helene later on today, is heading for the Panhandle and is expected to be a category. That's not even what I'm talking about. So that's going to be the second story of Helene projection. Icon of the Seas has an unplanned maintenance. Excuse me. Power loss on Utopia of the Seas. And Princess adds a second solar eclipse cruise. That and lots more here live at 11 this morning. Wow, throat's not totally over this whole business. All right, so that's going to be the headlines today. If you're listening via the podcast, welcome aboard. You can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. I try to get things up immediately after the show. Yesterday, I had technical issues. I did not get the podcast up until in the evening last night, like 6:30, 7 o'clock. Sometimes there are things beyond my control. I am having computer issues this week that have been an ongoing battle. It happened today on part of the show. So we're just going to have to, I got to play things by ear until I end up back home. So I'm going to do the best I can, folks. So that's where we stand with that one. All right. Did I have anything else I wanted to cover this morning? So yesterday, after the show, Tom and I went off in search of the aquarium. And it was marvelous. The aquarium here in Boston is excellent. I've been to a number of aquariums. Of course, my favorite of all of them is the one in Vancouver. But this one's right up there. This was a pretty good experience. Pretty easily accessible. Even the restroom did have a wheelchair stall, if you want to call it that. The door wasn't automatic in there. Some of the automatic doors they're a little lacking, but other than that, I was easily come on, tongue. It was easy for me to roll around the entire facility, all 4 stories. I think it was 4 levels, and really enjoyed it. After that, we went to the Quincy Market, which was built in like 1846 or something like that. Is primarily a Jagunda food court now. I could have gotten lobster rolls in about 4 different locations in there, but I'm sorry, folks, I'm old-fashioned. I'm not spending $35 for a lobster roll. That ain't gonna happen. I used to get lobster rolls all I could eat up here for nothing. So I'm too tight to do that. But Hot Air Tom had eaten at a place in there that does Philly cheesesteaks. And that's where we went. And I had a Philly cheesesteak, just like Hot Air Tom. And man, it was really good. They do the bread, the rolls right. Whatever you call those things for Philly, it's a long, almost loaf of bread. The cheesesteak itself was just outstanding. I mean, this was right up there with Philadelphia, and they're known for the best cheesesteaks in the world. This was good, so I really enjoyed that. Took a lot of pictures. Got a lot. We've gotten a lot of stuff done. It's nice traveling with somebody that can take good pictures, and Hot Air Tom has been doing just a wonderful job with doing some photography for me. Which I can use for the Will Power Chair website and Instagram page. So a lot of content that'll be going to Will. I'll be using the stuff Hot Air Tom's done for months. So that's just terrific. Anyway, so we got more time to do it too. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate that, how much easier it is to have somebody shoot a picture than me trying to set up a camera and focus it and frame us and shoot it and go back and get it before somebody runs over the tripod in my camera. And, it's dicey when you're out doing things. But anyway, that's working really well. So, and having a wonderful time. Of course, I like to give Hot Air Tom a hard time about just about anything. And especially the screwdrivers at breakfast. That's been a good one. He'll have a hard time living that down. However, today, he showed his age this morning, is getting a little forgetful. He got to breakfast and says, "Oh my God, I forgot the vodka. So it didn't happen today. I was like, oh well, too bad. So anyway, we're having a good time. All right, I'll be back with today's news and a look at this horrible look at the weather. Wow. And a couple more stories that are a little disturbing after a quick break from one of our fine network sponsors. All right, so the top story today, actually, we're going to go to the Pacific.
We have to start today's weather lookout in the Pacific. Hurricane John slammed into the southern Pacific coast of Mexico late on Monday as a powerful Category 3 storm, as local authorities warned of life-threatening storm surges and potential for catastrophic flash flooding. The hurricane brought fierce winds and what officials described as potentially extraordinary rainfall after it intensified from a tropical storm to a major hurricane in a matter of hours. Hurricane John made landfall in the city of Marquilla, located in the tourist hub state of Guerrero, with maximum sustained winds at 120 miles per hour. Around 9:15 Central Standard Time, there'd be 10:15 Eastern Standard Time, according to the National Hurricane Center. Its rapidly and strengthening appeared to catch authorities off guard as they scrambled to update warnings to residents and issued evacuation orders to those living along the coast. The National Hurricane Center said Monday night that forecast discussions that Hurricane John was expected to bring life-threatening storm surge and produce 6 to 12 inches of rain with isolated totals around 15 inches across the coastal areas of Chiapas. John is now a tropical storm moving northwestward. Still, life-threatening flash flooding to continue along the Mexican coast for several days. Currently, it's located about 115 miles northwest of Punta Maldonado, about 30 miles northwest of Acapulco. Currently, maximum sustained winds are at 70. Presently, it's moving to the northwest at 8 miles an hour. Central pressure is 990 and steady. Very slow motion westward, followed by very little motion is forecast over the next several days, with the sustained winds at 70 with additional gusts. Additional rapid weakening is anticipated, and John is expected to become a tropical depression later on today.
In the Atlantic, Helene expected to become a major hurricane. Hurricane and storm surge watches issued for portions of the Florida Gulf Coast. Currently located about 100 miles west-southwest of Grand Cayman, about 240 miles south-southeast of the western tip of Cuba. Maximum sustained winds are 35 miles an hour. It's moving northwest at 8. Central pressure is about 1,001 and steady. The system is moving toward the northwest. This general motion is expected later today and tonight, followed by a faster northward to northeastward motion on Wednesday and Thursday. On the forecast track, the center of the system is forecast to move across the much warmer northwestern Caribbean Sea through tonight and then over the eastern Gulf of Mexico on Wednesday and Thursday. Strengthening is expected during the next few days, and the system is forecast to become a hurricane on Wednesday, continue strengthening on Thursday as it moves across the eastern Gulf of Mexico. Formation chance for the next 48 hours, 100%. Formation chance for the next 7 days, 100%. Interest elsewhere along the northeastern Gulf Coast, Florida Panhandle, and the Florida West Gulf Coast should monitor the progress of the system. Additional watches and warnings will likely be required later today. MSC Seascape, trying to preempt the storm, changed this week's Western Caribbean itinerary for an Eastern Caribbean route. Now, also on the map, on the eastern side of the map, shower and thunderstorms activity associated with a tropical wave located near the Cabo Verde Islands has become more concentrated since yesterday. Environmental conditions appear favorable for gradual development of the system, and a tropical depression is likely to form in a few days while it moves westward to west-northwestward across the eastern and central tropical Atlantic. Formation chance 30% over the next 48 hours, but then 80% over the next 7 days. Clearly, folks, we got to watch both systems. They both can affect the U.S.
All right, here's Chillie's Cruises solo deal of the day. An 8-day Bahamas cruise on the MSC Seashore starting at $530 per person, and a great deal on drinks as well. The ship sails from Port Canaveral on November the 10th, has an overnight stop in Ocean Key, MSC Marine Reserve in the Bahamas, a day at sea, Costa Maya on the 14th of November, Cozumel on the 15th of November, another day at sea, and back to Port Canaveral. Sail on the MSC Seashore from Orlando, departing November the 10th, 8 days and 7 nights. The current rates: interior, solo, $530 per person. Ocean view, solo, $830 per person. Balcony, solo, $11.50 per person. The drinks package adds $2.50 onto that. Great deal on the MSC Seashore. Unfortunately, folks, I cannot be on this cruise, as I'll be on the cruise ship Dr. Cruise at the end of this cruise. But if we get enough people interested in this, I'll get somebody to go on it and host it. Anyway, take a look at it. A great solo deal.
All right, and before we get on with the other stories today, just in, Helene has officially formed. It is now Tropical Storm Helene. It was 9 before. So it is now officially a named storm, and it's fallen pretty much as we expected. So probably it'll be a hurricane sometime by tomorrow. It's up to 60 miles an hour already, so you might see hurricane strength today instead of tomorrow. That could be scary. All right. So the next story today comes from Royal Caribbean. This is, I find the next 2 stories a little bit troubling. I'll tell you why at the end. Royal Caribbean has announced, but not the kind of guests would want to hear. Less than a year after her inaugural sailing, Royal Caribbean flagship and the world's largest cruise ship, Icon of the Seas, canceled an entire sailing because of unplanned maintenance. Guests booked on the September 28th departure only received the unfortunate and disappointing news just days before embarkation, while they were given little or no explanation as to why the vessel must be removed from service. The now canceled cruise was to have been a 7-night Western Caribbean itinerary, visiting Mahogany Bay, Costa Maya, and Cozumel, as well as Perfect Day, Echo. The ship will now remain docked in Miami while undergoing the unplanned maintenance, though Royal Caribbean does not detail the nature of repairs. Of course, you all know that I scream about transparency. And here's why. Because broke. And right after that, it was released that last week, Utopia of the Seas experienced midsummer temperature recently following a power failure that impacted the air conditioning system. Did you guys hear about this? I didn't. And I mean, I follow this stuff daily from direct sources. While the power loss did not last long, it did impact a variety of systems, including fire doors, water pumps, and elevators. Most systems returned to normal once the power was restored, but the air conditioning system did not restart normally. Guests were asked to assist with temperature regulation until the full air conditioning could be restored. To be clear, air conditioning in some areas of the ship functioned normally, while other areas, not so good, particularly in areas that were closer to outer doors leading into open decks. They just felt warmer than they should have. As the ship's propulsion was not significantly impacted, there were no delays in the itineraries, no change of speed, any of those things. No explanation has been disclosed for the power failure, though a similar outage also occurred aboard Icon of the Seas. Remember that back in May? Happened. Interesting, that outage also occurred during a day at sea. Okay, so what bothers me the most about this is it just coincidental that you got two massive brand new ships that happen with that are released at least within an hour of each other. Just doesn't quite seem right to me. And here, Utopia is following the footsteps of Icon. Had the same issue, roughly the same time from when it started sailing. Something tells me there's a little problem in some of the design, possibly. All right, we got one other story this morning, and that comes out of Princess. Princess Cruises has changed the August 8th, so the ship will be off the coast of southern Spain on August the 12th. This will allow the vessel to be in the path of the total solar eclipse. Guests will have the opportunity to choose from the following 6 options on Sun Princess for the solar eclipse. Round trip from Rome, a 21-day best of the Mediterranean with total solar eclipse. July 25th, July 25th, 2026. Athens to Rome, a 14-day Mediterranean with total solar eclipse to August the 1st. Round trip from Athens, 21-day best of Mediterranean till August the 1st. Barcelona to Rome, 7-day Mediterranean with total solar eclipse to August the 8th. So, and there's a round trip from Barcelona, 21 days to total solar eclipse on August the 8th. Princess Cruises will now have 2 ships offering this unique opportunity to witness the solar eclipse, the Sun Princess and the Sky Princess. Solar eclipse cruise on Sun Princess is now open for bookings. If you're interested, just call me. I'll be glad to take you to get you on that ship. All right. That wraps up the news portion of today's show. I told you there wasn't a lot of news, but I found, definitely find the Royal Caribbean stories troubling. All right, let's see who's in the chat room today. If anybody's fussing at me or fussing at Hot Air Tom. Here we got somebody from X right off the get-go this morning. Odd Baho Hossein. Okay. Hello. Glad you're with us. I hope I didn't slaughter your words too much. Oh, that was it early this morning. That was right after I did formed the show. Hot Air Tom says, everyone, early bird gets the worm. I beat Mike. I certainly did. I'm only just confirming the show, Tom. Yeah, because nobody knew. Good morning, Chillie, Tom, and everyone. Good morning, Mike. Gretchen's with us out in Ohio. There's Joanne. Happy Tuesday. There's Steve out in Kentucky. Of course, everybody's speaking back and forth. Gretchen says, I'm peeling. Had to wipe my hands. I'm glad you're peeling shrimp. He's with us. Good morning, Amy. Bob's here. Hope all have a great day. Katie's with us. Good morning, Katie. Chillie Show is brought to you by my Verizon hotspot. Apparently his IHG Wi-Fi at the hotel has a block on Chillie. I don't know if it has a block, but Hot Air Tom's hotspot is much better than anything I was using. So, yeah, I agree. It's definitely partially the cause of success comes running this through Hot Air Tom's system. Of course, everything I say something about Hot Air Tom, his hair curls a little. I don't know, understand that, but that's neither here nor there. All right, Emily's with us. Good morning, Emily. Webcam connecting to his computer, which makes sense in light of recent hotel webcam issues. Okay. Emily says, there's Amy. There's Sonny with us down in Mississippi. Hoagie rolls. There you go, Joanna. I had a total brain lock on that one. Yeah, hoagie rolls. That's what they are. But man, I tell you what, it was good. You've probably eaten the Philly hoagies, Philly cheesesteaks. That's the way they do in Philadelphia. This was right up there with them. I mean, I know Philly people will hate me for saying that, but these were really good. They were way better than anything I can get at home. So I definitely enjoyed that. Yay for Hot Air Tom's Verizon hotspot. Chillie is going to ride Paul Revere's horse today and hang 3 lanterns in the Old North Church. Yes, well, so there's going to be an issue with Paul Revere's horse and me riding it. And it doesn't have to do anything with age. It has a little bit to do with weight. But yeah, no. Paul Revere's horse in Chillie, that would be interesting. He better have the damn camera ready. Tom, make sure you film that. Uh-huh. I agree. Especially when he's yelling, the British are coming, the British are coming. I got really good at that at the Tea Party Museum the other day. Ahoy! No, that's not what they had another saying that they Shazam, or I don't remember. Anyway, Todd's with us. Good morning, Todd. Gretchen says, I might have to look into that Eclipse cruise. Yeah, well, I'd be happy to. There's Roger down in Jacksonville. Good morning, Roger. Isn't Paul Revere's horse accessible? I have to dig a little to find out about that one. I don't know how accessible. Maybe I could just crawl on it. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see what happens this afternoon. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up the show today. Again, I have no idea what I'm doing tomorrow. I'll try to do something. Tomorrow we're going. Where are we going tomorrow? To Provincetown. We're on a high-speed boat to Provincetown tomorrow. If the seas have calmed down some. So we'll have to play that one by ear. But what I want to do is hopefully I can do a show, on even if it's on my phone, from wherever we are out there. Just even if it's just for a few minutes to say hello to everybody. Just, tread water, guys, and see what happens. I'll do something, and then don't scream at me if nothing happens, because I have no idea if I'm going to have any signal at that time or not. I'll come on whenever I can. Let's just do it that way, and maybe I'll have a chance to see if there's any news too. But never. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. As always, smash that thumbs up button. Had a pretty good crowd here this morning. Quite a few people from Mex. You guys are always welcome here. If you subscribe to the channel out the most, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising. Hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. Am I supposed to say Yahoo to the Paul Revere's horse today? What do you say to Paul Revere's horse? Hey, Tonto. Nah, that's not what you say. I'll see everybody tomorrow. You guys have a great day. See you soon. Later, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chilliescruises.